for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Bhattacharya, where did you get your undergrad degree?
Stanford University.
Stanford?
Yes.
And you went to medical school too, and did you get your medical degree from Stanford as well?
I did, yes.
And then you also have a PhD, is that right?
Yes.
And where'd you get that?
Stanford University.
3 degrees from Stanford? And that's
Four,
pretty.
actually.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, it's not the Big Ten, but it's pretty impressive. And you're now a professor at Stanford as well, right?
Yes.
And then you mentioned in your opening statement that you had some statements that you made that were part of a video put on YouTube. You had those taken down. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Why'd they take them down?
Because they didn't agree with them, I suppose.
No reason? Did they say it was not true? That it was what did YouTube tell you?
There was no reason given to me, or to, and I could not discern any reason from any public statements by YouTube about why they were taken down. It was just
so supposedly some guy at YouTube or some person at YouTube decides to take them. They may have a great education. Maybe they went for Stanford for all I know. But someone at Stanford, someone at YouTube takes down your video. My guess is they probably didn't have a medical degree who did that, but they took it down.
They did. I wish I knew who took it down. I mean,
Yeah.
I would love to debate them.
I just think it's amazing. Some guy who didn't go to medical school censors the guy who did, and typically the reason given is they says it's because he wasn't following the science. And here you have a medical degree, a PhD, an undergrad degree from the university. What was in the video that they found offensive, or again, we don't know the reason, but what was in the video? What did you say?
The main thing that was in the video that I said, I think was set them off, was that I said that there are no randomized studies that show that masks work with children.
No studies that show that.
No randomized studies, no high quality studies.
I'd be interested, Dr. Kennedy. Do you think it's appropriate for YouTube to censor Dr. Bhattacharya?
I quite honestly do not have the position to be able to comment on that. My expertise does not deal with.
You think it's okay for YouTube, some guy who's never went to medical school, to censor the guy who has went to medical? I mean, but this is now becoming a pattern. We just had Mr. Raskin try to lecture Dr. Bhattacharya. This happened a few weeks ago. I remember with my colleague Dr. Green. Mr. Raskin, smart guy, but never went to medical school, and he was telling Dr. Green, giving Dr. Green medical advice on what needs to happen with patients, what needs to happen with people. I just find that, and all in the name of following the science. So I just want to know, do you think it was appropriate for YouTube to take down Dr. Bhattacharya's video?
Again, having not seen the video and not knowing who took it down or the reasons for specifically.
Dr. Eshelman, you think it's appropriate for that kind of activity to take place, that kind of action?
Similar to Dr. Kennedy, as a scientist, I would need to review the data, and unfortunately, I can't say that I watched that video before it was taken down. Potentially, there could have been merits if there was clear, obvious, non-evidence-based or clearly contradictory information being presented. But again, I can't speak to that. I did not see it, and I don't know the inner workings of YouTube.
I just find it amazing that Dr. Bhattacharya is advocating that kids be in school, and YouTube takes that video down. Dr. Bhattacharya, is natural immunity as good as someone who's had COVID, recovered, has the antibodies? Is that natural immunity as good as someone who's had the vaccine?
Yes.
As good.
At least as good.
At least as good, maybe better. Dr. Kennedy, do you agree with that statement?
I'm not a medical doctor. I can't comment on that.
Dr. Eshelman?
I would say it's nuanced, and I would disagree with a blanket statement that it's as good or better. There already is evidence to show that, especially people who may have had a mild initial COVID infection, that their duration of antibody response does not last as long as vaccines. People who've developed more severe COVID may have as good, if not slightly better, but the data is also evolving.
Dr. Bhattacharya, should Mr. Dazik, the head of EcoHealth, should he come testify in front of this committee?
Absolutely should.
Dr. Kennedy, you think that Mr. Dazik should come testify in front of this committee?
That is outside of my purview.
Well, the Washington Post has called for it. The Wall Street Journal has called for it. Everyone I know of has called for it. The whole world wants it. The only ones that don't want to do it are Democrats on this committee. So I just want to know, as a doc, you got opinions on everything else. You think that Mr. Dazik should come testify?
I have opinions, but my expert opinion is not in that area.
Dr. Eshelman, you think Mr. Dazik should come testify?
I don't have an opinion on it because I'm focused on taking care of patients.
Do you think we need to find out how this thing started, Dr. Eshelman? You think we need to find out how this virus started? Did it start in the lab? Did it come from a bat to a pangolin to a hippopotamus to people or whatever they say? Do you think we need to figure that out?
Yes, I do think we need to figure it out, but I don't think it's the primary precedence, especially in a hearing like this. I think that optimizing the care and prevention of patients is the most
excuse me one second.
important
We had a
thing.
virus kill millions of people, disrupt the world economy, certainly disrupt the American economy, and you don't think it's important we find out how it started?
That's not what I said. I said that it's something that should be looked at, but I don't know that it should be the focus of this hearing.
Okay,
at this point.
I'm just asking you a question. Dr. Kennedy,
And I was answering it.
Dr. Kennedy, do you think we need to look at how this virus started?
I
Mr.
would
Chairman, the previous speaker got an extra minute and a half. You've
My
given him 40
non-professional
seconds.
opinion would be obviously yes.
All right, Dr. Bhattacharya, you think we need to figure that out? Do you think we need to figure
Yes.
that out?
Absolutely, yes.
Final question, Dr. Bhattacharya, give me your thoughts on how Dr. Walensky, as the new CDC chair, how she's, give me your assessment of her job performance.
I think she's done a very poor job.
All right.
Can you elaborate?
The gentleman's time
Sure.
has expired, and he's exceeded previous speakers. Thank you
I
for
don't
your
think I
time,
have, but
Mr. Jordan.
thank you, Mr. Chairman.